Hi, my name is Gail. Welcome to Forever Grateful Yoga. Thank you for sharing this practice with me today. Before we get started, I'd just like to say that when I teach my classes, I do not mirror, and there is a method to my madness. The reason I do this is because I like my students to begin to tune in and listen to my cues. And yoga is all about listening not only to my cues, but listening to your physical body, listening to your breath, and noticing where your thoughts and emotions are at. So with that being said, today's practice is called an opening to the goddess, Deviasana. So we'll concentrate today on opening our hips up, getting some fluid moving into the hip joint, creating some flexibility, increasing our range of motion, helping the circulation within the joint, within the muscles and the tendons and the ligaments that support this joint. And it is the largest joint in the body, and it is a ball and socket joint. So hopefully throughout this practice, as we get things moving, the fluids, and open things up, it will help to reduce some of your aches and your pains that you might be feeling. So with that being said, we'll get started today in our seated mountain pose. If you need the support of the back of the chair, you're welcome to lean back against the chair. If you can, come forward, maybe about a third of the way towards the front of the seat, and checking in that your feet are in line with your hips, knees are in line with your ankles. And just begin to notice your feet as they're pressing into the surface beneath them. Maybe moving flush away from sit bones, feeling those sit bones rooting into your chair, and bringing those shoulders forward, up towards the ears. They wash back and down as you lengthen up through the crown of the head. You're welcome to soften the gaze down towards the floor, or maybe close your eyes entirely if that feels good for you today. And as we settle in for this practice, I'd invite you to take a deep breath in through the nose and exhale, settling in. And before we make any movements with the physical body today, I'd invite you to take a moment just to check in with yourself. And if you noticed any physical or mental challenges that you might be dealing with today, I'd invite you to be mindful of these challenges as we move through this practice. Using this practice as an opportunity to explore at a level that feels okay or right for you today. And bringing your awareness to your breath, beginning to lengthen the inhales and the exhales, breathing in and out through the nose, and sending the breath into the belly. And the breath becomes slower, a little deeper. And as you inhale, the belly rises. And with each exhale, the belly falls as you empty out completely. Seeking to smooth out both sides of the breath. And seeking to even out both sides of the breath. Matching the inhales with the exhales. Creating a pace that feels comfortable for you. And taking one more breath cycle here, taking your time. At the end of your exhale, just returning to the natural rhythm of your breath. And again, noticing any and all sensations, whether it be your physical body, your breath, and where your thoughts and emotions might be at. And you're welcome to leave your eyes shut if you've chosen that, or softly open them. Next inhale, we'll lengthen up through the spine and the crown of the head. And on an exhale, the head will turn to the right. Inhale comes to center. Exhale, head turns left. Inhale brings us to center. Exhale, head turns to the right. Inhale brings us to center. And exhale, the head turns to the left. Inhale brings us back to center. Exhale brings the chin down towards the chest, softening those shoulders down away from the ears. A full breath cycle into the back of the shoulders. A nice big inhale. Nice big exhale, releasing any stress or tension. Next inhale, the chin traces that right collarbone towards the right shoulder. And the exhale brings us back to center. Inhale traces the left collarbone towards that left shoulder. And the inhale brings us back to center. One more time, inhale, chin towards the right shoulder. Exhale brings us to center. Inhale, chin towards the left shoulder. And the exhale brings us back to center. Inhale raises that chin up, head back up to neutral. And now you can soften the eyes open if they've been closed. We'll come to take our fingertips softly behind our head here, supporting just the base of the skull, a little bit of that area. The elbows can be open wide here. As we inhale, we'll raise our nose and chin up towards the sky, any amount, having the nice support of our fingers. And as we exhale, we'll bring the nose and chin back down towards the chest. Inhale brings the nose and chin skyward, opening up our throat space. And the exhale brings it back down. One more time to inhale and exhale. End of that inhale, the head comes back to neutral. The palms can come to rest softly on our thighs here. Coming to a few rounds of cat-cow. On your next inhale, we'll slide those palms towards our hip crease as we open our heart space, squeezing the shoulders together. And on the exhale, we'll slide those palms forward as we round the back. Gaze comes towards the navel. Inhale, opening up our front body. And the exhales are opening up that back body. Just continuing at a few rounds at the pace of your breath. And again, noticing any and all sensations that might be present in your spine, in your shoulders, in the hip area, maybe the pelvic region. Breathing into this flow. And the next time you come into that rounded back cat shape, we'll just be there. We'll soften the shoulders down away from the ears, taking a full breath cycle into the back body. A nice big inhale and a nice big exhale. Next inhale brings us back to that neutral spine. And the hands can come to heart center here. On your next inhale, we'll reach those fingertips way up to the sky. As you exhale, the right fingers wrap around that left wrist, coming to a side bend to the right. Inhale brings us to center. Exhale, side bend to the left. One more time, inhaling center. Exhale, side bend to the right. Inhaling center. Exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale brings fingertips skyward. Exhale brings hands to heart center. Again, bringing the palms down towards the thighs. Next inhale brings those shoulders forward, up to the ears. They wash back and down. Just a few circles of the shoulders in this direction. Nice and slow, nice and intentional. Inhales bring those shoulders up, and the exhales wash back, down, and around. And let's do 2 more in this direction. And once those shoulders come up to the ears and wash back and down, we'll pause and then begin to take these circles in the opposite direction. Inhale brings those shoulders up to the ears, forward. Exhale, they go towards the floor and then towards the wall behind you. And again, making these nice and slow, nice and intentional. Breathing with the movement. Let's do 2 more in this direction. And once you have completed those 2, once again bringing those shoulders up towards our ears, and they'll wash back and down. We're sitting up nice and tall here. Taking an inhale to lengthen the spine, and we'll do some barrel rolls. As we exhale, the heart leans towards the right, then towards center, towards the left, and then it comes up and around on the exhale. And keeping that spine nice and straight, imagining you're a straw in a glass of water here. The elbows are hugged in towards the torso here. The belly's pulled in nice and tight. Let's do 2 more in this direction. All meeting back at center. Back at center, we'll take a nice big inhale. And as we exhale, the heart goes to the left, to the center, to the right, and circles back and around. And again, keeping that spine nice and straight, almost as if you might have a rod inside that spine. Keeping those bellies strong, the belly muscles strong. And let's do 2 more in this direction. And once you've completed those 2 circles, we'll all meet back at center. Bringing our hands to heart center once again, the elbows nice and wide here. We'll inhale to sit up nice and tall. And as we exhale, we'll twist to the right. Inhale comes to center. Exhale, twist to the right again. Inhale comes to center. Exhale, twist right one more time. On your inhale, we'll open those arms wide, shoulder height, palms facing skyward. Nice big exhale here. Inhale brings us back to center, hands at heart center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale brings us to the left. Inhale opens arms wide, shoulder height, palms facing skyward. Nice big exhale here. Inhale brings us back to center, hands at heart center. And from here, we'll come into our opening of the goddess flow. We'll come into our figure 4 shape, our pigeon shape, on the right side. So first option, if your hips aren't feeling so happy today, might be to cross that right ankle over the left ankle. If it is accessible, you can slide that right ankle up on top of that left thigh. And if you've chosen this shape, just checking in that your left knee is in line with your left ankle, the right foot is flexed, palms can rest softly on that right shin. We're sitting up nice and tall. And we'll come into a little bit of a forward fold here. So once again, we'll inhale to lengthen that spine. And as we exhale, we'll hinge forward right at that hip crease, leading with our heart space, thinking cow, opening up our heart, keeping that upper spine nice and straight. You don't need to come down very far at all here. You should be feeling some sensation in that right outer hip. Begin to direct your awareness to that sensation. And begin to direct your breath into that area. Breathing into that right outer hip. Breathing into sensation. Finding your inhales are flooding into that right outer hip. And each exhale washes away any tension, any holding, any gripping. It's beginning to soften into this forward fold. Beginning to release any tension you might be holding with each exhalation. And just a few more breath cycles here. And let's take one more breath cycle here, taking your time. Next inhale brings us back up to that seated neutral spine. And from here, we'll do some of those barrel rolls, some small circles on our pelvis. So we'll inhale to sit up nice and tall. And on the exhale, we'll start to bring our heart to the right, to the center, very tiny, to the left and back. And again, keeping that spine nice and straight. The elbows can hug in towards the torso for support here. And just noticing anything that might be going on for you today in the hip joint. Maybe the piriformis is feeling a little tight today. The glutes, maybe the hip flexor. Just noticing these sensations, knowing we're creating more space and openness in our physical bodies. And then finding a spot to take a pause in and taking those circles in the opposite direction. Noticing if this feels any different from the direction you just came from. And then we'll come to stillness. We'll interlace our palms underneath that right thigh, assisting that ankle off and extending that leg straight out in front of us. So we're supporting the thigh here. We're pressing our foot into maybe the wall in front of us, imagining that. The toes are reaching back towards the shin. We're engaging all the muscles of the leg. We're engaging the quads, the hip flexors, the hamstrings, and the calves here. You're welcome to stay here for a few breath cycles. If it's in your practice and you wanted a little bit of a challenge, you can remove maybe one arm, one palm from under the thigh, and maybe the other palm under the thigh. Wherever you're at, we'll take a full breath cycle here, a nice big inhale, and a nice big exhale. At the end of that exhale, we can lower the arms down, lower that right foot down, and slide it back behind you under the chair. So you're on the toes, on the ball of the foot. If you have a chair like mine that happens to have a rung on the back of it, maybe you can hook the top of your foot on that rung here. We're going to come into our dancer pose, Nadarajasana. So checking in, the left knee is still in line with the left ankle from our mountain shape. Next inhale, reaches that right arm up to the sky. And we'll take a full breath cycle here, a nice big inhale, and a nice big exhale. End of that exhale, that right arm comes down towards the chair, sliding that right foot back in towards the floor. And we'll come into our eagle shape from here. Again, welcoming you to cross the right ankle over the left as a first option. If you can, cross at the thigh. We're crossing at the thigh now. It's not a figure 4 shape anymore. We're squeezing those thighs together. From here, we'll inhale our arms open wide at shoulder height. As we exhale, that right arm will go on the bottom, the eyes of the elbows to stack. First option is to give yourself a hug here in your eagle shape. Second option might be the backs of the hands touching. Last option might be the palms touching, Garudasana. And from here, we'll soften our shoulders down away from the ears. Next inhale raises those elbows up any amount. And the exhale lowers them back down. Inhale raises up. And exhale lowers down. Inhale raises up. And the exhale lowers down. Next inhale, we'll unwind those arms, unwind those legs, and we'll come into our goddess shape from here. So we'll open our legs wide, maybe adjusting your seat if you need to. So setting up our foundation, we're checking in that our knees are in line with our ankles, our toes are in line with our knees here. We don't want to be splaying in at all. Bring your stance in closer if you are. We're pressing our feet into the surface beneath them. Pressing our knees towards the wall behind us, so we're activating these inner thigh muscles, outer hip muscles here. So we have a lot going on. We're pulling our belly in, reaching our tailbone down towards the earth as the belly pulls in, low rib cage knits in, shoulders come up to the ears, they wash back and down. A lot going on here. It looks like we're not doing a lot, but we're engaging a lot of muscles here. In our goddess shape, we can bring our arms out to cactus arms, squeezing those shoulders together. We'll take a full breath cycle here, a nice big inhale, and a nice big exhale. And then lowering those arms down. We'll come into a wide angle shape on the right side. So you're welcome to hold on to either side of our chair for support. Maybe you just extend that right leg out with the foot flexed, the heel is on the floor. If you're able to lift that leg up, we'll go there. Foot is flexed. And we'll take a full breath cycle wherever you're at. A nice big inhale. And a nice big exhale. And then the sole of that foot comes to the floor. We'll extend that left leg out. First option is for the heel to be on the floor. Foot is flexed. Another option might be to raise that leg up off of the floor. Heel up off of the floor. We'll take a full breath cycle here. A nice big inhale. And a nice big exhale. And then we'll lower the sole of the left foot to the floor. From here, we'll come into our firefly shape. So I like to scoot back on my seat a little bit and hold on to the front of my chair here for support. And again, we'll work both legs at the same time. First option might be to extend both legs out with the heels on the floor. Second option, we'll engage those belly muscles, the shoulders, the entire torso here as we lift those legs up off the floor. Actually, your heels up off the floor. And we'll take a full breath cycle here in our firefly shape. A nice big inhale and a nice big exhale. And then we'll lower the sole of our feet to the floor and come forward on our chair and heel toe our feet back into our seated mountain shape, setting up our foundation here. Coming to an eagle shape on the left side. So your first choice would be to cross that left ankle over the right ankle. And again, if it's accessible, to cross at the thigh here, squeezing those inner thighs together. Next inhale opens those arms wide. Exhale brings the left arm on the bottom, eyes of the elbows to touch. First choice might be to hug yourself. Second choice might be the back of the palms touching, and the final, most challenging, would be the full bind of your Garudasana arms. Wherever you're at, we'll soften the shoulders down away from the ears. And on your next inhale, we'll raise those elbows up any amount. And the exhale will lower them back down. Inhale raises up, and exhale lowers down. One more time. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale unwinds those arms, unwinds those legs. We'll slide that left foot back, coming into our dancer shape on the opposite side. So the ball of the foot and the toes are on the floor. And again, if you have that rung on the back of your chair, maybe you can get the top of the foot on the back of that chair. And we'll take a nice big inhale here as we raise up that right arm. And exhale. One more full breath cycle here. And exhale. From here, we'll lower that right palm down, sliding that left foot back in. We'll interlace our palms underneath that left leg, and we'll extend that leg straight out in front of us. The foot is flexed, toes are reaching towards the shin here. The toe and knees facing up towards the sky. We're pressing that heel into the wall in front of us. You're welcome to stay here for a few breath cycles, engaging all those muscles of the leg. Maybe you'd like to challenge yourself a bit, removing one hand from that thigh, maybe removing the other hand from the thigh. Wherever you're at, we'll take a full breath cycle here, a nice big inhale, and a nice big exhale. End of that exhale, we'll slide that foot down. The arms come back down, and we'll come into our figure four pigeon shape on this side. First option would be to cross that left ankle over the right. Maybe if it's accessible, you can slide that ankle up on top of the right thigh, checking in that the right knee's in line with the left ankle. This left foot is flexed. The palms can rest softly on top of that thigh. And we'll come into our forward fold here. On your next inhale, we'll lengthen up through the spine and the crown of the head. And as we exhale, we'll begin to hinge forward, leading with our heart space, thinking cow here. Keeping that upper back nice and straight. And again, you don't need to come down very far. You should begin to feel some sensation in that left outer hip area. Begin to direct your awareness and your breath into that sensation. Beginning to find yourself softening and releasing with each exhale that you take. Finding the inhales are flooding into that left outer hip. And the exhales are washing away any holding, any gripping, any tension. Just continuing to breathe and continuing to soften into this forward fold. knowing we're creating space, creating openness in our physical bodies. A few more breath cycles. One more breath cycle here. End of the exhale. Next inhale brings us up to that neutral spine. And we'll sit up nice and tall, and we'll begin to make those small circles on our pelvis in one direction, keeping that spine nice and straight. And again, noticing any and all sensations, honoring the physical body today throughout the practice. Knowing when to move forward and when to ease up. And then coming to stillness and beginning to take those circles in the opposite direction. And then coming to stillness will help that foot off back to the earth here. We'll come into a few rounds of moon salutations before we get off of our seats, off our chairs. We'll start with our hands at heart center. The next inhale reaches those fingertips skyward. Exhale, right fingers wrap around left wrist, side bend to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale brings us to center. On your exhale, we'll open that right knee wide, coming into our goddess shape on the right side of the chair, cactus arms. Nice big inhale here, and a nice big exhale. Next inhale, we'll open up nice and big for our star shape. And exhale, fallen star to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale, fallen star to the left. Inhale comes back to center. Exhale, sweeps that right arm across, left arm skyward for the twist. Inhale comes back to center. Exhale, sweeps that left arm across, right arm skyward. Exhale comes back to center. Inhale brings us back to our goddess shape. Full breath cycle here. A nice big inhale. And a nice big exhale. Next inhale brings us back to center to our seated mountain shape. Doing the same flow on the other side. We'll inhale our fingertips skyward. Exhale for a side bend to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale brings us to center. Exhale opens that left knee wide, coming into our goddess shape on the left side of the chair. Full breath cycle here. A nice big inhale and a nice big exhale. Inhale opens up nice and big for our star shape. Exhale, fallen star to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale, fallen star to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale, sweeps that left arm across, fallen triangle. Inhale comes back to center. Exhale, sweeps that left arm across. Inhale comes back to center. Exhale, slides those feet in for our goddess shape. Nice big inhale here. And a nice big exhale. Inhale brings us back to our seated mountain shape, and we'll do this a few more times. Inhale, reaches fingertips skyward. Exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale, reach those fingertips way up to the sky. Exhale, open up big, the right side of the chair, goddess shape, nice big inhale here. And a nice big exhale. Inhale, opens big for our star shape. Exhale, fallen star to the right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, fallen star left. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, sweeps the right arm across. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, sweeps the left arm across. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, slides those feet in, goddess shape, nice big inhale. And exhale. Inhale brings us back to center. Next, inhale, fingertips reach skyward. Exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, opens left knee wide, V shape, left side of the chair. Nice big inhale here. And a nice big exhale. Inhale, opens up to our star shape. Exhale, fallen star to the left. Inhale, comes to center. Exhale, fallen star right. Inhale, center. Exhale, sweeps the left arm across for a twist. Inhale to center. Exhale, sweeps left arm across for the twist. Inhale to center. Exhale, brings those palms back, arms back, and feet back for our goddess shape. Full breath cycle here. Nice big inhale. And a nice big exhale. Inhale brings us back to center. And just take a moment here. Maybe relax the palms down. Soften the eyes. Maybe close the eyes. And take a moment to notice. Notice your physical body. Notice your breath. And notice where your thoughts and emotions might be at. And know that you can always come back to your breath to bring you back into the present moment, using the breath as an anchor, as a tool. And then softening the eyes open, we'll come off the chair for a few poses. And we'll do our blast off. We'll do a countdown of 10. A little more challenging might be to give yourself a hug. A little less challenging would be the arms out in front of you at shoulder height, palms facing each other, thumbs towards the sky. If you have problems and you can't get your bum off the seat, just imagining that you can, pressing into your feet, hinging forward a little bit, activating all those leg muscles will help to build your strength in your legs. So whatever is working for you today, honor that. And we'll get started by taking a nice big inhale to lengthen that spine. And as we exhale, we'll hinge forward, press through those feet, coming up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and blast off. Good job, everybody. From here, we'll come to stand behind our chairs today. So setting yourself up behind your chairs, maybe about a foot behind your chair, and you can hold on to either side. From here, we'll come into our goddess shape standing. If you need to stay seated, you can do this all seated in your chair too. So we'll step our feet wide. We'll rotate our heels in, our toes out a little bit, and we'll bend at our knees here. And again, just checking in that our ankles and our knees. You might need to shift your feet around a little bit. Knees and ankles are in line, toes are in line with our knees. We again don't want to be splaying in here. We're activating all those muscles that we talked about. Pressing our feet into the earth, pressing our knees towards the wall behind us, reaching that tailbone down towards the earth as the belly pulls in, and softening those shoulders down away from the ears. From here, we'll remove the right palm off of the chair, fingertips towards the floor. Next inhale, we'll straighten those legs, reaching the fingertips skyward. Exhale, bends the knees, bringing the palm down. Inhale to straighten. Exhale to bend. 3 more. And last one. And then we can hold on to the chair, straighten those knees, begin to heel toe those feet back towards center, and just shake out those hips. Shake things out a little bit. And we'll come into our goddess shape again, opening our legs, our feet wide. And then the heels come in, the toes come out, and we bend at those knees. Setting up your foundation, thinking about all of those points we talked about. Right palm can stay to the chair, left fingertips down towards the earth. Next inhale, we'll straighten those legs. The left arm comes skyward. And the exhale brings the palm back down as we bend the knees. 4 more. Two more. We might have done one extra. And from here, we'll straighten those legs. The arm can come to the chair, and we'll heel toe those feet in towards center. Shake things out. Get what you need. And then staying behind the chair, holding onto the chair with both hands for support. On your next inhale, we'll raise up our heels, coming up onto the balls of the feet. And our exhale, we'll lower it back down. Inhale to raise up, and exhale lowers back down. We'll do this a few more times, at the pace of your breath. Let's do 2 more. And then shake things out here. And we'll come right back into our goddess shape for the last time. So we'll open our feet nice and wide here. We'll bring our toes out, our heels in, pressing our feet into the surface beneath them, and then bending at those knees. And you have the option here to hold on to the chair for support if you need to. If you're feeling steady today, both palms can come off of that chair. And on your next inhale, we'll raise both arms skyward as we straighten the knees. And the exhale will bring the knees to bend and the hands down. Inhale, raises up, and exhale to bend. 3 more. Last one. Next inhale, we'll hold on to that chair, press those legs straight, heel toe everything back into center, and again shake things out. We'll just challenge our balance, just like we did before, coming up onto the balls of our feet. On your next inhale, we'll come up onto the balls of our feet. We'll find a focal point on the floor in front of us, just steadying our gaze down towards the floor, and maybe challenging the balance. One hand might come off the chair, maybe the other hand comes off the chair. You can always have the chair there for support if you need it. A little more challenging is to bring the hands behind the head here softly. And trying to challenge yourself for time if you can. Building up muscle strength in all those muscles in the legs, building up bone strength here. And when you feel like you've had enough, you can come down and shake things out. And we'll just do a little foot stretch before we come down to back to seated. So I'll move my chair on the side. From here, we'll extend that right leg back behind us, coming to the top of the toes, maybe a little bit to the top of the foot. A little bend in that left knee. You get a nice stretch on the top of the foot here. Maybe going up into the shin area. And just a few breath cycles here. Just enjoying the stretch, the openness you're creating. And then sliding that foot in, coming to the ball of the foot and just rolling things out in one direction. And rolling things out in the other direction. Coming to stillness, the sole of that foot comes to the floor as we extend that left leg behind us. Coming to the top of the toes, a little bit of the top of the foot, a little bit of a bend in this front knee. And just sending the breath into sensation. Enjoying the stretch. And then sliding that foot in, coming to the ball of that foot and just rolling things out in one direction. Maybe a little Elvis move going on here. And then the other direction. And then bringing the sole of that foot to the floor. And let's just come into a downward facing dog from here to get that nice stretch. So keeping the palms on the chair and walking back any amount. And maybe you like your knees to be bent here. Maybe you like to pedal things out, shimmying the hips. Maybe you like to bend and straighten the legs. Maybe you prefer stillness. So whatever's working for you today, just enjoying the nice stretch you're feeling in the arms and the side body, the shoulders and the hamstrings. And just a few breath cycles here. And let's take one more breath cycle here. And at the end of that exhale, bending those knees, the gaze comes towards the back of the seat and slowly walking up towards the back of your chair. And then once those shoulders are in line with your hips, the head can raise. And we can just take a moment here to again just notice. And then coming back down to our seats. Setting back up in our seated mountain shape. Sitting up nice and tall here. We'll take our right arm and inhale to open it out nice and big to the side. And on the exhale, we'll sweep that arm across the top of the torso. Left palm can come to that upper arm. And just coming into a nice stretch here. And taking a few breath cycles. Let's take one more breath cycle here. And then releasing that arm, Back to our seated mountain shape. Next inhale, that left arm opens wide to shoulder height. And as you exhale, we'll sweep that arm across the upper torso. Right palm can come to the upper arm, softening the shoulders down. And just taking a few breath cycles into this stretch. One more breath cycle here. And then at the end of the exhale, releasing that arm, we'll come to thread the needle from here. We'll open up 3 times, 2 times and thread it through. On the last time, we'll come all the way through and we'll come down onto our shoulder. And if this is too much for you, come back to the stretch that we just did. So again, listen to what you're feeling today and honor that. So we'll start on the right side, and the gaze can follow as you inhale that right arm skyward. On your exhale, we'll bend that elbow, the palm towards the sky as we thread it through, reaching the fingers towards the wall to the left. Inhale, opens big. Exhale, bends, threading it through. And again, to inhale and exhale, brings that through. And this time we'll come all the way down onto our shoulder if that feels good. The gaze is towards the floor here. And we'll just take a few breath cycles here. Breathing into the back of that shoulder. Releasing any stress or tension with each exhalation. One more breath cycle here. Next inhale, we'll press that right palm down on the thigh as we remove that right arm and place the right palm on top of the thigh. Next inhale raises that left arm skyward, the gaze can follow. Exhale, bends at that elbow as we thread that arm through, palm facing the sky, reaching towards the wall on the side of us. Inhale to open big. Exhale, threads that through. One more time. Inhale. Exhale, bends that elbow, palm facing the sky as we lean forward, coming onto that shoulder. The gaze is down towards the floor. And just taking a few breath cycles here. One more breath cycle here. Next inhale, that right palm presses down into that thigh as we unwind and come back to our seated mountain shape. And from here we'll come into our final relaxation and Shavasana. So welcoming you to lean back on your chair. Maybe extend the legs straight out in front of you. Finding a shape that you can be fully comfortable in and fully relaxed in. Beginning to let go of the practice. Beginning to feel a sense of ease. A sense of relaxation, feeling the whole body relax, the muscles, the bones, and the skin, feeling that sense of ease and peacefulness as we settle in for a few minutes of final silent meditation. you can begin to awaken your breath. The breath that fills your body with life and with energy. And as the breath washes through, it begins to re-enliven the physical body, beginning to make small movements with the fingers and the toes, and maybe circling out the wrists and the ankles. And softly moving the head gently from side to side. Maybe reaching arms overhead, extending legs out for a nice full body stretch. Taking any other movement that might be calling to you. And then making your way back to your seated mountain pose. And hands can come to heart center and Anjali Mudra. And softly bowing your head towards your own heart. And taking a moment to thank yourself for coming to this practice today. And knowing as we create more fluidity and ease in the physical body, it spills over into our psycho-emotional body, helping us to flow through life with more ease and fluidity. And the head comes back to neutral. And we'll close this practice with the sound of one Om, inhaling to prepare. Om. And I thank you all so very much for sharing this practice with me today. Namaste. Thank you.